Well, good afternoon. This is Dave Jones with StormCenter Communications and GeoCollaborate. It's 1:50 in the afternoon, East Coast time on this Thursday, October 3rd. This is a tropical weather update for the All Hazards Consortium Sensitive Information Sharing Environment, where we provide this information uploaded to the SISE portal for states, private sector liaisons, and private sector operators to be on the same page when it comes to weather expectations and sharing of trusted information. Wanted to update you on the tropical weather conditions that we expect over the next several days. This is the Gulf of Mexico as viewed from the GOES East satellite, and you can see what's happening. There are a lot of clouds in the Gulf of Mexico right now. However, the good news is that this stream of moisture, and it is a lot of moisture that's streaming into the Gulf, is not showing any signs of developing into a tropical depression, a tropical storm, or a hurricane. It looks like what's going to happen over the next several days is that a low pressure will form in the Gulf, but it's going to be more like a low pressure and not a tropical type system. Now, this will still have impacts along the Gulf Coast, particularly southeastern Louisiana and also perhaps parts of Florida, Panhandle, and then a lot of the peninsula of Florida with some potential heavy rain over the next couple of days. I'll show you that in just a moment, but let's go out to the east in the Atlantic Ocean because I do want to update you on two tropical systems that we do have, both of them intensifying. This one right here is Hurricane Kirk. Hurricane Kirk is really strengthening rapidly. It is now a Category 3 hurricane with 125-mile-per-hour winds. Look at that rotation there and the outflow. It is in very favorable conditions for this system to continue to intensify. As a matter of fact, the National Hurricane Center is forecasting Kirk to reach Category 4 status with winds of 140-mile-per-hour winds. Now, a little bit further to the southeast of Kirk, we have Leslie. Yesterday, this was Tropical Depression number 13. Today, it's Tropical Storm Leslie with 45-mile-per-hour winds. And Leslie is expected to follow a very similar path to Hurricane Kirk. So that's great news. Both systems remaining out in the ocean, not expected to impact the United States at all directly. We are having wave action emanating from these storms that is reaching the east coast of the United States. So be careful with rip currents that are reaching the United States because of these hurricanes. Let's get to GeoCollaborate and I'll show you what it looks like. You can see there's the path out there way out in the Atlantic for Hurricane Kirk and also Leslie right behind it. As a matter of fact, this is the system and where it looks, this is Kirk and this is Leslie right behind Kirk. Look at that, expected to merge sort of right into the same pathway there. So it's going to be kicking up a lot of waves that are headed towards the United States, also Bermuda, and down towards Puerto Rico as well. But this is the area that the National Hurricane Center is continuing to watch. Let me bring that full screen and show you what it looks like. This is still a 30% chance of a tropical system developing over the next 7 days. Now, the good thing about this is the National Hurricane Center is decreasing the chances for this system to develop, and it looks like it's going to be generally a low pressure system, not developing into a tropical storm or hurricane. There are a couple of reasons for that. There's some strong shear in the northern part of the Gulf of Mexico that's going to be keeping this system in the Gulf and then sort of shearing it off into Florida. But that means that Florida, you will have a chance of some significant rain totals over the next several days. Now, on GeoCollaborate, we're connected directly into the Weather Prediction Center of the National Weather Service. I'm going to turn on the 7-day quantitative precipitation forecast. This is QPF. Notice here in the Gulf of Mexico, there is a lot of red. That means this system is dumping a lot of rain in the Gulf of Mexico. That's okay. It's not having impacts along the coast. However, some of these storms and clouds will impact the immediate Gulf Coast from Texas over to Louisiana, to also Mississippi and Alabama. and even into places like Apalachicola in Florida over the next 7 days. Again, this is not a tropical storm. It's not a hurricane. You don't have to worry about the strong winds. It is going to be a rain producer. But notice over in Florida here that there is a lot more precipitation expected over the next 7 days, particularly in areas that have been impacted by the storm surge from Hurricane Helene. I know there's a lot of recovery going on. A lot of homes are being cleared out because of the record-breaking storm surges in the Tampa Bay area. You will have to pay attention to where these heavy rains are, because these will cause localized flooding, these rain showers and heavy downpours over the next 7 days, starting in the next couple, not today. But it also extends down towards Cape Coral, also towards Naples and South Florida. So I would say the entire peninsula is looking at a chance of some heavy rain over the next several days. And this is where 5 to 8, 10 inches of rain could fall in these areas. Again, it's not a tropical storm or a hurricane, but just a low pressure system that's going to be forced to just move over Florida because of a fairly strong jet stream. Now I'm going to turn that off because I want to show you something else that we've been monitoring, and that is the electric power restoration along this path. Now I'm going to zoom out just a little bit to show you the green area. Remember, I drew this the other day in GeoCollaborate. I'm leaving this here because this is pretty much the damage path from power that Hurricane Helene had on the East Coast. But one of the things that we've been doing over the years is partnering with NASA and NASA's disasters program so we can access some NASA satellite data and monitor things like night lights. At night, the city lights and everybody's lights can be seen from satellite, so we can see what's happening with regard to power restoration. And so we have power being restored in the western suburbs of Greenville. In South Carolina, that's good. But notice these areas here, there's a lot of dark spots. Now, there are not lights everywhere, but there are a lot of dark spots. And this goes up into North Carolina. Here's Asheville, North Carolina, with some lights that have been restored. Remember, the group of mutual assistance linemen and crew have been coming from all over the country, descending upon North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, and restoring a lot of power. This is great news, but we do have still areas of darkness that we can see from satellite that still have to be restored. Now, some properties have been totally destroyed and power won't be restored, but we don't see individual properties here, but we can see groupings of lights, and that's good news, seeing the power restoration activity happening. Now, one of the things that I'd like to do is show you just the challenge that these workers in the utility industry have had. And I want you to watch closely here. I'm going to pull this up. This is going to be a video that was taken in North Carolina, in Black Mountain, when the powerful waters were coming through and just snapped a power pole right in half. This is what it looks like. There goes that power pole right down with its transformer into the water in Black Mountain in North Carolina. And that wasn't the only damage. You had propane tanks that were coming down the river. Look at this, just spewing propane gas into the air, which could have exploded at any time. This is just one instance caught on video. But this is what has to be addressed by the crews that are restoring power, both on the distribution side and the transmission side. And so as we talk about power, take a look at this. No electricity for 1,004,624 meters. That has come down tremendously from over 4 million. Look at this map of the United States. This is showing all the states where mutual assistance utility crews have responded and are driving across. California, they're driving across the country right now and should be in Georgia by tomorrow, Friday. That is a Herculean effort brought together, which has been the largest mutual assistance response in utility history. That comes from the Edison Electric Institute. And I do want to point something out here, that in the hardest hit communities, this is a statement from the Edison Electric Institute earlier today, there will be customers unable to receive power until these communities are rebuilt. Once damage assessments are complete, impacted electric companies will have a better understanding of the total number of customers who need to be red tagged. That means that they will be removed from the outage count. You just can't restore power to homes that aren't there. It is very, very impactful for residents who live in the path of Hurricane Helene. But this is what's happening, and there's been a tremendous amount of power restored. Nearly 6 million customers in 10 states. As of 8:30 this morning, power has been restored to nearly 5 million meters. That's incredible. And that's 83.2% of customers. They're going to be continuing until they get everyone who could possibly be restored. If you see a utility worker, please thank them for all of their efforts. I saw pictures yesterday of linemen that were sleeping in hammocks that were strung from their bucket trucks. So they're not taking up hotel rooms. They're sleeping in the field and then getting right back to it in the morning. And we appreciate all of the restaurant owners who are able to operate, and also all the volunteers that are in there cooking meals for all of these responders, from emergency management to line workers to citizens. So thank you on behalf of them. I do want to mention that dangerous conditions still exist in North Carolina. Travel is prohibited in Western North Carolina. Shortages of water, food, gas, power, and communications exist. Also, non-emergency travel is prohibited, and local roads remain closed. Also, you cannot get from North Carolina to Tennessee on I-40 or I-26. It's going to be a detour up into Southern Virginia and then back down 81, most likely. People evacuating Asheville can use I-40 East and I-26 East. There have been some lanes opened. It's dangerous, but there is a path open for you to drive out of Asheville to the east on I-40 or I-26. Exercise extreme caution. Also, I want to mention a fuel program that has been getting great response. The Fuel Marketers Association of America, the Energy Marketers of America, put together this disaster fuel response program. Sherry Stone is the contact for this program, and it's designed for businesses, medium-sized businesses, small businesses, large businesses. If you are in need of fuel, if you're a state agency, a local government agency, if you are in need of fuel, contact Sherry at this email address and this phone number so she can put you in touch with volunteers who normally deliver fuel as a living, who have opened themselves up and made themselves available to deliver fuel into your area. They will do that. She can help put that contact together, make that connection so you can get the fuel you need to keep your generators running and keep your operations going. So a terrific program, and that's going to be continuing through this time period. So that's it for this tropical update. I'm Dave Jones with StormCenter Communications and GeoCollaborate. These two systems way out in the Atlantic Ocean are no threat to land, and we'll be monitoring the tropics. Every day there is a potential for any tropical development near the United States. Thanks for watching. Please take care of yourself, and please take care of your neighbors.